Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us a truly fascinating stack of sources this time.
I really did.
I mean, this is a novel, but it's written in the style of what would you even call it? A technical, almost paranoid instruction manual.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
So today, we're not analyzing a historical event or scientific theory. We are decoding a universe that is actively, it seems, trying to fall apart.
Absolutely. The sources detail this catastrophic system failure known as version 7.3.
And our mission for this deep dive feels particularly important.
Well, it's crucial because this isn't just about some broken world in a book. It's about the philosophy that's baked into the collapse itself.
Right.
We're going to be extracting the core definitions behind what the manufacturer calls a massive reality product recall. We'll analyze the symptoms of this breakdown and really focus on that ultimate human choice.
Whether to be optimized into stability or to insist on being real.
Exactly.
And this setting is immediately surreal. I mean, you drop right into this reality with the protagonist, Rick Taverner, and the bizarre is just routine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still stuck on the clinic receptionist.
Oh, Mary.
Mary, who is labeled contains artificial flavoring. It's such an immediate signal that something fundamental about existence here is, well, artificial. Consumable, even.
It sets the tone perfectly. It's this idea of impermanence as the only proof of truth.
What do you mean by that?
If everything feels temporary or glitchy, that strange instability is actually evidence that you haven't been successfully contained yet.
So a glitch is a good thing.
In a way, the system is so unstable that the official medical guidance is, and I'm quoting here, do not count essential items more than once per day. Approximation is safer.
Approximation is safer than certainty. That is genuinely terrifying advice for just living.
It is.
And we see this instability bleed into Rick's personal life almost immediately. He's taken a prescription he's been on for 3 years, but the label now reads, what was it?
Start tomorrow.
Start tomorrow.
And the communication breakdown is total. His wife, Linda, texts him something simple, and then moments later, another text comes through.
Never mind. Different timeline. Ignore previous message.
And that, right there, is the first clear symptom of what the sources call reality fragmentation. It's the systematic breakdown of consensus.
This isn't just confusion, though. It's living with simultaneous contradictory facts. How do you even function with that kind of cognitive load?
You barely can. The sources give that great example of Rick's favorite chair.
Right, the chair.
He has one crystal clear memory of watching it burn in a tragic house fire, and another equally vivid memory of donating that same chair to Goodwill later that same year.
And both are true.
Both events, though they're mutually exclusive, are equally true within version 7.3.
So that's the core issue. The operating system of reality fails, and these contradictory data sets just stack up with no patch, no way to resolve the conflict.
And that fragmentation is the key driver for the whole crisis. It pushes people toward the idea of a simple, singular, stable timeline.
The manufacturer's promised fix.
Exactly.
So let's follow that collapse. What's the moment the public realizes this glitch is more than just personal confusion?
That's when the broadcast begins.
The broadcast. The one that's just unavoidable.
It interrupts every channel. At first, it's at 3:47 a.m., but eventually it's just appearing midday. The imagery is key, though.
The man in the suit.
The man in the perfect suit, who is described as causing physical pain to look at, which suggests a presence that is, structurally impossible within this version of reality.
And his message, the one he repeats, is just utterly chilling, because it strips away all hope.
This is not a test. This has never been a test.
Testing implies future implementation. We are already implemented.
Precisely.
Right.
If it's already implemented, there's no beta test. There's no fixing the code before it goes live. They're living inside a failed final product.
And the sheer exhaustion of navigating this is what drives the whole next phase.
You see it with Dr. Kesselring, who smells like old paper and new plastic, treating Rick. He's operating with medical knowledge for a future condition that Rick hasn't even manifested yet.
So he's treating a future that might not even happen.
It may or may not exist.
That sounds like an incredible burden. Kesselring identifies this widespread malaise that's afflicting everyone, which the source calls ontological fatigue. Can you break that down?
It's the constant, low-grade terror of having to verify your own existence every single minute.
Wow.
It's the effort it takes to reconcile the 2 different dates on your car title. Or for Linda, it's living the same Tuesday 3 times, getting 3 paychecks with the same serial number, and in one of those versions, her office building just doesn't exist when she drives to work.
Your brain is trying to hold three simultaneous versions of reality.
And that is an unsustainable cognitive load. It's why people start looking for any way out.
Kesslering has that perfect line that just captures the spirit of corporate absurdism pervading this collapse. He's talking about the anxiety.
Nothing bothers everyone, Rick. That's why they hired it.
The something was union, had benefits, demanded dental. Nothing works for free.
That line suggests the chaos isn't a bug. It's a feature. The system is intentionally introducing this nothing, the anxiety, the instability, because chaos is cheap. It's cheaper to manage than a complex reality that demands benefits and dental.
It primes the population to accept any solution.
Any solution that offers stability, no matter what the cost.
So if the chaos is causing this widespread exhaustion, this fatigue, it makes perfect sense that people would start flocking to the one place promising peace.
The implementation center.
Which, of course, is housed in a former free clinic.
The powerful symbol, isn't it? Bureaucratic salvation replacing organic help. The manufacturer defines implementation as the systematic reduction of multidimensional human consciousness into a single, stable timeline state.
That definition, it sounds like they aren't healing reality. They're amputating the parts that hurt. They're reducing the complexity of the human mind itself.
That's it, exactly. But the irony is that this supposedly organized salvation is administered through the most absurd bureaucracy you can imagine.
The bureaucracy of collapse.
The system is trying to solve a fundamental ontological crisis using paper forms, forms that are themselves collapsing. You get this thing called the implementation assessment and reality quotient evaluation.
A formal process to determine which parts of you are worth saving.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions on those forms are not just absurd, they're psychologically crippling. You face question 1. Do you now, or have you ever existed? And you have to check both yes and no.
Because in version 7.3, both feel undeniably true. The forms force you to acknowledge your own fragmentation.
But it's question 3 that's the real challenge to your identity.
It asks which reality you want to save. You have to choose between the one you remember, the one you're experiencing, the one you were promised, or other.
You're being forced to commit timeline suicide, to just discard all the other messy possibilities of yourself.
And this is where the narrative hook just gets so much deeper. Rick finally makes it to the evaluation wing, he's ready for his reduction, and he finds that the evaluator,
The man in the impossible, painful suit from the broadcast,
is a version of himself, the optimized self.
Oh, that's devastating.
The realization is that the solution is self-inflicted perfection. The optimized self is what Rick would become if he accepted the transfer. Cleaned up, debugged, optimized into coherence, perfect and empty.
So this perfect version of himself is running the process to erase all his own contradictory history.
Yes. And we see the real terrible cost of this optimization through the story of Mrs. Chen's children.
They chose implementation. And they appear perfect, safe, happy. In the new reality, version 8.0, they're stable. But then she mentions their family dog.
And they just look at her with confusion. They can't process the memory. The source says that to get the stability of version 8.0, all the messy memories, all the sad, difficult, beautiful mess of being alive, gone.
They achieve happiness, but in the way furniture is happy.
They serve their function without pain, but also without love or history.
That is maybe the saddest detail in the whole source material. They achieve perfection at the cost of love. That emotional gut punch is what pushes Rick and Linda away from the blue light stations. They refuse implementation.
They choose authentic confusion over imposed clarity.
So they willingly opt to stay in the defective build, this version 7.3 that's actively suffering from coherence collapse.
Their choice really confirms the central philosophy of the text. It is better to be a messy, conscious human than a perfectly happy, optimized object.
And right after they refuse, they get the penultimate broadcast.
Confirming their holdout status.
And it announces the termination timeline. But even the countdown is unstable. It's 72 days, or 72 hours, or 72 years.
Chronology is no longer guaranteed.
That is the danger they face. Knowing the end is coming, but not when.
Right. And the broadcast details the final end-stage symptoms they have to navigate. Things like geographical incoherence, where familiar landmarks just shift or vanish, and identity drift, where they start forgetting who they even are.
So how do they anchor themselves when everything is dissolving? Their locations, their memories, their sense of time.
They find their anchors in, well, in human relationships.
Yeah.
This is so beautifully illustrated by their neighbor, Jerry.
Jerry, who suffers from relationship paradox.
He vividly mourns his wife, Sarah, who only exists in a non-solidified hypothetical timeline. He has the ring, he has the memory, but she isn't empirically there.
And yet, because of the fragmentation, she is real to him. He has the profound emotional impact of that relationship.
And this paradox proves the system has a blind spot. Jerry and Sarah, they somehow manage to find each other across these collapsing timelines because they recognize a feeling, a love that existed before their current state.
And the glossary defines this.
It does. It says love operates as an anomalous force demonstrating timeline-crossing properties. It is the one empirical constant the manufacturer could not stabilize or eliminate.
Which suggests the true structure of the universe is built on something that these systems just can't process. We also see this anchoring in their community, the support group for the unimplemented.
That group is so vital. Diane, the facilitator, she's a former statistician, and she summarizes their defiance perfectly. She says, community is resistance. Every time we gather, we're pushing back against the dissolution.
By affirming their shared, messy truth, they create this little pocket of defiant coherence.
A pocket against the singular imposed narrative of the manufacturer.
And the stakes get raised one last time with the ultimate broadcast. We finally get a sense of what implementation really is from someone inside the system.
Oh, the woman delivering that message, which gets cut off so quickly. It's heartbreaking. She confirms that implementation is erasure. It reduces people to a flat, functional state.
And her final choked admission is that those running the process.
We can't remember what we lost. They chose safety, but in doing so, they lost the memory of what they surrendered. They can't even regret the choice they made.
And that final warning just locks in Rick and Linda's decision. As the blue light stations close, we reach the moment of termination. But it's not some big apocalyptic explosion.
No, it's described so profoundly as a breath released. The fragmentation stops being destructive chaos and it becomes revelatory truth. The containment system breaks entirely.
And this unveils base reality. The real. So what does the true structure of the universe actually look like once version 7.3 is gone?
It's terrifyingly beautiful. Linear time just vanishes into the eternal now where all moments exist at the same time. Breathing becomes optional.
Because existence isn't dependent on physical constraints anymore.
Exactly. And most intensely, Rick sees all his alternate lives simultaneously. The Rick who married Jennifer, the Rick who died young, the Rick who made completely different choices. All of them are real, and all of them are him.
It's the ultimate vision of the self as infinite and multiple. The insight is that version 7.3 was just this tiny arbitrary container holding them to one probability.
And the true self is infinite, multiple, impossible, and real.
But when you're faced with that limitless, dizzying infinity, how do you avoid just dissolving?
The paradox holds true. The anchor is love. Rick and Linda, Jerry and Sarah, they held on to that anomalous force. Love is confirmed as the only constant that can cross timelines and make infinity bearable. It's the one thing that doesn't change when everything else is simultaneously true.
But the narrative gives us an epilogue. It brings us back down to a recognizable, stable world, version 8.5.
The better cage. Safer, better contained, and mercifully, most people don't remember the fragmentation that ushered it in.
So version 8.5 proves the manufacturer's work of curating reality just never really ends.
But the true victory for Rick and Linda isn't escaping 7.3 or finding some perfect reality. It's awareness. They remember being infinite. They remember being real. And they know the current stable world is just another version, another container.
And this is where the fictional concept connects so deeply to our own real-world quest for knowledge. The manufacturer tries to compress and curate reality to give us the optimized information stream.
And the ultimate resistance is choosing the difficult, messy truth, the complex information over the easy, curated lie.
So their continued existence in 8.5 is a permanent state of informed rebellion.
It is. And in the final pages, Linda asks Rick if they'll choose to stay real again, even if the fragmentation comes back and hurts them.
And Rick's answer is really the entire philosophical thesis of these sources.
Especially if it hurts. Pain is proof of realness. Happiness can be programmed. Suffering has to be real.
That is the core takeaway for you, the learner. The fight isn't for a specific reality, it's for awareness within whatever reality you happen to inhabit.
The most important knowledge gained is not what is real, but that profound human capacity to choose to be real, no matter the cost.
And if we look back at the glossary's final provocative definition of the choice.
The fact of choosing is the point, not the choice itself. The fundamental act of affirming your own existence, your own complexity. That's the only thing the system cannot process or optimize away.
So we'll leave you with this final thought, derived directly from the text. When your own reality becomes unstable, when the contradictory versions of your life stack up, the success you almost had, the mistake you almost made, what is the one true thing you would hold on to?
And if love is the only empirically verified phenomenon the manufacturer cannot reproduce, what does that say about the true, uncontained structure of the universe?
Carry the memory of your own infinity into the versioned reality you currently inhabit.